Hello friends, welcome to my very first video, and this video is going to be on the topic of, well, Japanese imports, CDs, SACDs, things like UHQCD, to a lesser extent maybe Blue Spec CD, Shim CD, all those great CDs are still being produced over in Japan. And with this first episode, I'd like to talk about the Blue Note Mastered by Kevin Gray series, UHQCD. These started off in, I do believe it was December of last year, and they started off with 20 titles. And then in February, I do believe they released another 20, maybe it was January they started, but 20 titles, and then they did 20 more. Now they're up to, they're almost finished with their fourth series. The fourth series has 3 titles left to go. One of them is coming out, I do believe, by the end of the week, and then there's 2 more that are coming out in August, and then that'll be it for the fourth series. So that'll have, you'll have a total of 80 titles, and then of course you're going to have September, we're going to get 20 more, and then October another 20 more after that. And I don't know what the plans are for anything after that, but I'm assuming they're still going to produce these CDs. Now these CDs obviously were remastered by Kevin Gray, so I can only assume, and if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me, but all these titles that they are releasing, and most of them that they have released, are all the titles that they've released on the Blue Note Classic series on vinyl, and also the Blue Note Tone Poet series on vinyl, to a lesser extent the Tone Poet series. So there's more of the classic titles that are being released on UHQCD than Tone Poet, it would appear right now, although it does seem to be changing a little bit. Most of these, or all of them, you can get on CD Japan. And of course on CD Japan, you can order them like 10, 20 at a time if you want. And then the more you order, the less, of course, shipping will be. And that just makes everything better. And then they also give you points. But this is not a video to sell you on CD Japan. If you want to go there, that's fine. If you'd rather go to other websites and get them, that's fine as well. What I found about these CDs is that they are very well done. Very, very, very well done. I mean, I can only surmise that what happened is that they took when Kevin Gray was using the analog master tape and was cutting to vinyl, he was more than likely creating a high resolution file as well, which would more than likely is the same high res files that they use on Pro Studio Masters and HD tracks, because you can find a lot of those titles on those websites. And they're, you can get them in 2496 or 24192 if I'm not mistaken, and it also in 16-bit 44.1 kilohertz. Now these CDs, obviously, they're just UHQ CDs, so I mean, there's nothing drastically different. I mean, it's just better quality CD. I mean, the fact that it's better quality, does that make a difference in the sound quality? I don't know. I'm not here to preach that. I'm just here to talk about how well these CDs are done. The CDs come in a standard jewel case, nothing too fancy. They replicate let me turn this around a little bit, make it look a little bit better. Okay, this right here is the very first release. Andrew Hill, Point of Departure. Okay, and then of course you get the obi, the mini obi strip, and then you get the booklet, and then you also get another inner booklet that's in Japanese. And then of course these are all numbered. You can see right here, if I hold it up just close enough, it's UCCQ or something like that. But yes, let's see if I can get that to zoom in. Well, maybe not, but a lot of people already do know. But oh yeah, actually it's right here on the front. Sorry, that's a lot better. If you can see that, great. If not, I am sorry, but I'll go ahead and just read what it says anyway. It's UCQC 9626, and I guess that's where the series starts, 9626 all the way up. They just keep numbering them as they go, skip over a number here or there, but for the most part it's pretty consistent. Now this is part of the Blue Note 85th anniversary. So as a lot of you know, anybody that collects vinyl, back in 2014, that was the 75th anniversary of Blue Note, and they released a series on vinyl called Blue Note 75. And of course those were taken from the same masters that Alan Yoshida created for the XRCDs that were released. Now the XRCDs, as a lot of people already know, that series was finally finished after being in the works for 12 years, I think they got the first 20 of them out. And then finally, 10 years later, they got the last 5 out, which was nice. One thing I noticed about the books that they come in, because it's like a book type CD holder. The new ones, the last 5 are a little bit taller as far as like, you know, like just a tad bit taller. And a lot of those are going to be reissued on this format as well. One of them right off the bat is Tina Brooks' True Blue. I know that to be coming out. Let's see what else. I think Cool Struttin', Sonny Clark. And what was the other one? You know, there's just Hank Mobley, Soul Station. That's another one. I think those are coming out later. And then Little Johnny C, I think, is actually coming out later. So a lot of what Yoshida did for XRCD came out on vinyl with Kevin Gray doing the remastering. So one thing about these, and I'll repeat it again, they are very well done CDs. They sound every bit as good as their vinyl counterparts. I mean, as well they should, because it's the same master. I mean, you know, if you're using a completely different master, maybe your results will vary. But I mean, when it's the same master, stands to reason it should sound the same. I mean, vinyl might have a little bit of an edge in the fact that it is truly analog. So if you're running from the analog master tape to an analog console to the cutting lathe to an analog record, it's all analog. Whereas with CDs, not that it makes that much of a difference, but you're basically going from the analog master tape, and then you're creating a high resolution file from there. And then from that high resolution file, you're downsampling to get CDs at 1644.1. Now, I've compared some of these to the high res files that I purchased on HD Tracks and also on Pro Studio Masters. And maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know. I'm 55 years old. I mean, maybe my ears aren't what they used to be, but was the difference night and day? No, not a night and day difference at all. I mean, you know, maybe there's a little bit of an edge in clarity, a little bit of edge in detail, because you are working with 24 bits as opposed to 16. But I mean, a lot of people already know that, you know, when it comes to formats like DSD and, high-res FLAC files or what was the MLP, Meridian Lossless Packing, or even with Blu-ray audio, which uses Meridian Lossless Packing, if I'm not mistaken, you know, your 24.192 or 24.96, it's a great delivery method for, you know, for storing, archiving, and then creating CDs from it. But I mean, a really good CD is going to sound every bit as good as a high-res file. I mean, the only time it's going to be different is if they tweak the mix. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. It's not jazz related, but Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, they did a DVD audio of that. Okay, and with that DVD audio, they remastered the stereo layer and they made it louder. They used what they call dynamic compression. Of course, they don't like to use that term anymore, dynamic compression. They like to say dynamic range limiter, you know, because I guess that makes it sound a little bit better. I don't know. But when you make something louder, in this case, I mean, when you put it in, when you first listen, yeah, it's going to sound better because it's louder. But with repeat listening, it gets fatiguing after a while to listening to something that's loud. So I went back to the Fleetwood Mac standard CD. They did that one back in 1990 that used the original master. It sounds fantastic. It completely blew away the DVD audio in stereo. Now 5.1 is a little bit of a different story, but I'm not going to talk about 5.1 in this video. We'll leave that for a later discussion. I'm just simply talking about 2-channel audio. And even with the new SACD that they released in Japan, that coincidentally has a 5.1 mix, I found that the stereo layer on that was loud. And also, even with the new Blu-ray, people, you know, I've heard some people say that, you know, once you hear the new Blu-ray, you won't go back to the old CD. Well, I did. And once again, I'm not going to talk about the 5.1 audio or the Dolby Atmos mix. I'm sure those are just fine, but I'm strictly talking about stereo. I mean, if they're using the same master that they used for the DVD audio, it stands to reason it's going to sound the same, and it's going to be loud. Now, of course, there's a lot of people that are used to that because of what happened in the 1990s when this whole loudness thing kicked off. But I'm not going to go too far in the weeds on that one. I'm simply here to talk about how great these sound. I've listened to about 5 or 6 of them. I have 77 of them. I decided to just get all of them. And they all sound great. Once again, every bit as good as their vinyl counterparts. Probably the best sounding versions I've heard on CD. But then again, my range, that's limited. I've heard some of these on SACD. Analog Productions did some SACDs, but we're talking about Japanese releases. We're not necessarily talking about the American releases. I know that also Blue Note released some of these on SACD, a few years back. I know there's like the Coltrane, there's the Time Waits by Bud Powell. I know they released that on SACD, and that got a nice release, but I'm assuming that was used from a previous master. Could have been Yoshida's master, don't know. Haven't researched that enough. But with these, every last one is from Kevin Gray, which is great. I mean, I did compare because Kevin Gray did the Sonny Rollins, the complete Village Vanguard recordings. I think it's Village Vanguard. And they also Blue Note released the CD version of that. But I don't think that CD version was created from a Kevin Gray master. That might have been an old master. Don't know. Have to research it. But yeah, if you're into collecting high quality CDs, some of the finest jazz recordings ever, then I would strongly recommend getting these, especially when you can get them when they're so readily available. I would recommend starting from the beginning, because that's the one thing about Japanese formats, they are limited. So when they say it's a limited edition, that's what they mean. I mean, they did that with, they did Prestige, the Prestige 60, and they released 60 titles that were on a Prestige label. And I was lucky enough to get 5 of those. I could probably get more, but there's some that I just can't get unless I look on the secondary market. But with these, I'd recommend starting with the first 20, and then get yourself caught up to speed if you are a big jazz collector, because none of these titles is going to be a slouch. None of them. If it came down, I mean, I like these so much that I'm in the process of getting rid of my Blue Note Classic vinyl records. And the reason being is because I just like the presentation on these a little bit better. The classics were released to aim at a certain price point, which they achieved, but I just found the sleeves, the jackets to be a little flimsy for my liking. And, some had gatefold, most of them didn't. So you don't really get a lot in terms of information, but at least with these, go ahead and show you here, you get everything that's on the back of the LP right there. You get some additional information about the UHQCD format. And of course you get a lot of Japanese. And then you get the album credits in Japanese. And, well, yeah, it's all in Japanese. So I thought there was another inner lining or inner book or few blurbs, but I guess there's not. And then, of course, one thing that people like about these formats is the nice little OB strip that you get. I always recommend keeping the OB strip, so that way you can differentiate between this and something else, even though right on the CD it says UHQCD. It says HQ, but it says Ultimate above that. Ultimate HQCD. Now, the Ultimate HQCD format is just a different way of creating CD, just like XRCD was, just like SHM does, and just like Blue Spec CD does. I mean, it's just all a different way of creating 1644 Red Book CD. Some older CD players might, and I'm saying that might, not definitely, but might not play these. I ran into a situation where I had a SHM CD. I tried to play it back on an older RCAM CD player, and the RCAM CD player would not read it for reasons I don't know, just wouldn't read it. My Blue Sound Vault reads it just fine, but I don't rip these to my vault. I just enjoy playing these. I have a Yamaha CDS 2100, which is the second from their top SACD player, and it sounds fantastic to me. And then I have that connected to my Yamaha AS 2200, their integrated amp, second from the top. And then, of course, I'm wearing my Zoo Audio t-shirt. I have a pair of Zoo Audio Soul 6s, which sound amazing to me. Everything I got connected, it's connected through Kimber cable. And I've got the Denon, the DP3000 NE turntable, which is a beast, and it sells 40 pounds of turntable. That's a heavy turntable. And of course, the Yamaha stuff's heavy as well. And the speakers, incidentally, are actually quite light compared to the rest of it. But these sound great. You won't be disappointed at all. If you have the XRCDs, I would still recommend getting these. I mean, even though there's only maybe 1 or 2 titles that are across both formats right now. And maybe some of those titles are on the AP SACDs. I don't know. I mean, I have 31 of the analog production SACDs that they did with Blue Note, because they're harder and harder to get, and you know, the ones that you can't get are next to impossible to find. But that's okay. I still have them, and even if I have them, and you know, some titles that are coming out on this format, I'm still going to get all of these just because I like them, and I just like the way they look on my shelf. That's just me. I'm weird like that. But yeah, this is the video I've been promising. I said I was going to start my own channel, and I figure I said that about a month ago, 2 months ago. I don't know. But now I'm finally making this video. I just felt compelled to make the video after I watched, I'm not going to go too much into it, but this guy that does reviews is, I guess he's being threatened with litigation by a large DAC manufacturer. I'll just say it's 3 letters. Take what you want from that. But yeah, I just watched that and I was like, you know, I got to make this video. But yeah, like I said, these are, you know, they come in at a price about $13 a piece. You know, when shipping's all said and done, if you're buying them by 10 at a time or 20 at a time, they could be anywhere from maybe $14 to $15 a piece when you throw in the shipping on top of that. But the great thing about, and I will say CD Japan again, is they give you points for every purchase. And you could turn around and use those points to apply to your next purchase. And that's just what I've been doing. And then if you sign up for their email, they'll send you coupons from time to time, which is also great. I mean, and shipping is extremely fast. I mean, most of my orders, I get them within a week. That's how fast they ship them out. So I'm happy with that. And I'm sure you'll be happy with these as well. Now, I'm still trying to figure out what next video I'm going to make, because there's quite a few I can do. One thing I'm thinking about doing, and it's probably going to irritate some people, but that's okay. I don't care. I'm thinking I want to do a video, so that might be the next one, and that is the Acoustic Sounds SACD series. The one that seems to be, you know, it's like a mystery. I mean, you know, I called, I could say this because I'm not bad-mouthing anybody, but I called Acoustic Sounds and asked them, I said, hey, what's going on with the Acoustic Sounds SACD series? They're like, well, we know, they just won't acknowledge it, which, you know, it's weird. They don't have to, but it's just, you know, it bears their name, so why not acknowledge it? Or maybe they just have a deal that they can only release that in Japan because of the vinyl records that they're releasing here, the Acoustic Sound series. Now, eventually I'll get into, so that's probably gonna be my next video, the Acoustic Sound, because I have quite a few of those. And then from there, I'll probably step into the realm of maybe some of the Japanese XR CDs, and then we'll go into SHM CD, Blue Spec CD. I may or may not do videos about it. I mean, if that's what folks want, then I'll definitely pick up a few titles and I'll do the video if that's what you want. Please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment. If there's something I said that you disagree with, leave a comment. You know, if there's something you don't like about the video, leave a comment. You know, I'm open to pointers. I mean, this is just new. I'm going to grow this, hopefully make it a little bit bigger, and, you know, cater to the group that doesn't get catered to, and that is people who buy Japanese CDs. There's so few, or there's so little information about these on the internet. I mean, you know, and then when you do find it, it's in Japanese, and you can translate, but translations don't always work out. Luckily for me, I speak a little Japanese, not enough to read it. You know, there's maybe a couple things on here I can read, but not too much. But, you know, the proof is in the listening. So, I mean, who cares where it's made? If it sounds good, it sounds good. And, of course, you knew these were going to sound good because Kevin Gray did them. And Kevin Gray, in my opinion, is a genius. So, there you have it. That's my first video. So, once again, hit like, hit subscribe, and feel free to follow. I'm going to be on the page on Facebook where I said I was going to make this video. And so I'm going to be dropping this video on YouTube, and then I'm going to be sending a link over to Facebook so everybody can watch it from there as well. So I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'm thankful that you did. I hope there was some information. If there's more information you want to know about, once again, leave a comment or feel free to hit me up on Facebook, and I'll do whatever I can to help answer your questions. So thank everybody. Have a great night, and keep CDs alive, because they're still good as long as they're done right. Everybody have a great night. Take care. Bye.